morning, I'm Kim Davis. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Well, the economy continues to top the list of concerns for most Americans. Making ends meet has become a challenge for many people, and getting ahead seems to be somewhat of a dream. Well, my guest today is a woman who turned her personal nightmare into a sort of rags to riches story. Elon Bomani is a self-professed conscious capitalist. I love that title. At one point, she was a homeless single mother with only $36 in her bank account. She joins me today with some practical tips on things we can all do to get ahead during these challenging times. First of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
very
Kim,
nice
for having
to meet
me.
you. You know, when you first chatted and I heard about your story, I thought, you know, this is the kind of thing people want to know. Every week we talk about how tough the economy is, but what can we do, you know, in terms of getting ahead, creating an additional stream of income for people who may not know where to start? Where should they start?
Well, one of the key things I mentioned to people is that even if they have a full-time job, to consider sidelining and taking their hobby and making it into a part-time business. By doing so, they get wonderful tax loopholes. So with that in mind, completely legal, they're able to possibly write off their cell phone. In addition to that, electric, gas, you know, car repairs. Gas is the main issue now today. So these are some of the things that they can actually be able to do on a part-time basis and start creating some more additional income into their home. And this is with skills that they already have.
And let me ask you something. The first thing people will say when you hear about a business, you think, it's going to cost so much money for me to get started, and I'm already trying to live on a budget. How do I do that?
You know, one of the key things I always tell them, you know, network marketing companies are really great. I mean, you can start a network marketing company with $50 to $150. In addition to that, I started an e-business not too long ago. My first website was $25.
E-business, tell me about that, because that's growing, and some people aren't really familiar with e-businesses.
E-businesses are businesses that you have online, internet businesses. Like one of my businesses is about credit repair. Right now with the subprime mortgage debacle that's been in existence, this is a good time for people wanting to resurrect their credit. So for $25, I was able to start a website that was already made for me. Yeah, you can get it on eBay. And in doing so, I make an average of just on Google AdSense alone, $300 a month. Now that's great. That'll definitely take care of the gas bill. And that's residual income that's coming in. And that's money that you're making, you know, while you're sleeping.
So that's the passive income that the financial experts tell us we should all strive to achieve.
Definitely. The way to wealth is to be able to invest in products that is making money for you while you're not having to put that effort in yourself.
Now tell me, conscious capitalist is, tell us what that is and how you came up with that title.
Well, you know, the key thing about it is, unfortunately, capitalism has gotten a negative connotation. So a conscious capitalist is someone who realizes that they use morals, ethics, and values, and when they're doing business, they do good with the money that they're making. So with my money, I'm very conscientious about where I use my money and how I run my business, and to make sure that my business is doing good and serving the community, not selling to the community. And more important, companies that I work with, I make sure that they're ethical, meaning that they're hiring individuals of different racial backgrounds. In addition to that, that they're making sure they're taking care of the ecological system that we have in place. So we want to make sure that now when we do business, that we're very conscious about who we're working with and making sure that they're abiding by our morals, ethics, and values as far as what we want to do.
Okay, now let me ask you, we have to go back to this. I mentioned in the open that you were homeless, a single parent. I think your son was a little less than 2 years old.
That's correct.
But you also, before you got to that point, you college graduate, educated, and just life happens.
You know, one of the key things I want to mention to most people, I'm not an anomaly. The average American is one paycheck away from homelessness because of the fact that we don't save as Americans. And that's some of the things that we've got to work on. So that's the one thing I want to stipulate first and foremost. And the other thing I want to state to the American people is the fact that, you know, what we have to do is become financially literate. A lot of us went to school and we got all these alphabets behind our name. We learned the 3 R's, but nobody taught us Wealth 101. And that's a subject that we have to do on our own nowadays. Social Security is not going to be for us in the future. In addition to that, your pension plan, you know, you got to supplement that. You know, things are shifting, whereas at one time the government was assisting us with our retirement plan. But now today we are going to have to be the one to take control of our finances. And so we're going to have to become financially literate.
Let's talk about just some practical things that if I'm at home watching, what can I do to get started? I've never had a business. I don't know what to do. My credit's not real good, and I have no idea how to get started.
Okay, the first thing I suggest for people to do is go to your Sunday paper, your Sunday newspaper. On Sundays, they have free and very nominal based, programs they have available. For example, the SBA has some wonderful first-time business seminars and workshops for $35, even some of them free. In addition to that, they have SCORE. They're retired individuals that were successful business owners that are willing to volunteer their services to work with you to help you develop your business. They'll even take you by the hand to construct a business plan. So in addition to that, what other individuals could do is go to first-time home buyer seminars. I found that doing my research that 90% of people that are first-time home buyers, they don't go through these programs that are available and free to them. So I always tell people that wealth is not going to come knocking on your door.
You have to look for it.
You have to be the aggressor, and you have to go after it if you want it.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish with some more tips and talk a little bit more about your story. This is Beyond the Headlines. We'll be right back.